All right, we live. All right, cool. Y'all, I'm Wolfie, and today we're going to check out day 13 of training camp, some signings, and of course, the things go around with AIYUK. If you guys watch this later, please sub if you like the content and like the video if you like the live, of course, for the video. So, anyway, let's get with the signings first. Let's just get that out of the way. There's a few of them. Let me try and bring it up on the screen. Or I don't know if I even need to do that, to be honest with you. Hold on. So, just for the sake of August, we've seen all the July ones like Pat Elfline, who got hurt, and then Darby, of course. So, through August, we signed Lewis Kidd to replace Elfline, who got hurt like right away. So, that's kind of funny. It kind of sucks for him. But, I mean, we were expecting him to not actually make the team. Matt Breida's coming back. That's cool. Welcome back, Matt Breida. He's going to place as we place Malik Turner on injury reserve. So there's that. And then we signed wide receiver John Trey Kirkland, running back Keyshawn Vaughn to 1-year deals, which makes sense. I mean, they're probably just camp bodies. They're definitely not going to make the roster. We got too many good running backs. Anyway, in order to make room on the roster, we released the safety Eric Harris, and then we waived Tariq Owens, Terrell Owens' son. I wanted Terrell Owens to be a little upset about that. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. So there's those signings. Those signings happened yesterday, and a lot of wide receiver action happening with this whole AIYUK talk. It's kind of gotten everyone on edge, like, oh, wide receiver, what? They're cutting him for this reason. However, the biggest news before we get to then we signed Trace. I'm getting ahead of myself. Then we signed Tracy Walker III, who was actually a safety for the Lions. I'm pretty excited about our safety room. I think our depth is pretty good with Mustafa Brown, who finally coming back, hopefully the 15th. And then if you add Tracy Walker, who has the ability to make the team, he was pretty good last year. I mean, okay, so the stats that I got here, he ran a 4.5 speed. He's 6'1", 29 years old. Last year, he had 59 tackles total. 42 of them were solo. 17 were assists. So that means he's really doing the work, really getting in there. A tackle for a loss, 3 quarterback hits, 1 forced fumble, a sack, 2 pass deflections. I know the stats just keep going. And he did this all starting only 6 of those of the 17 games last year. That is pretty good for a safety, especially when it's going to be a backup. I like this signing a lot, low key. I like this a lot. It's not Justin Simmons, but it's a pretty good signing. Tracy Walker is probably the biggest one right now. I'm really excited about Tracy Walker. However, he did tear his Achilles in 2022, but I mean, in 23 he had those stats, so that obviously didn't slow him down. But he may actually be a little bit slower. I mean, that would just make sense. However, people are healing a lot better these days, except for Aaron Rodgers. And then not to mention, he has 6'2", he has 62.8 PFF grade, so he was just about average as a safety. So we pretty much legit have a starting safety as a backup safety, I believe, like a 32nd rank somewhere back there. So it's definitely probably means we're not getting Justin Simmons, which is fine. I mean, he probably wants a ton of money. So if you guys here watching live, please like the live. Appreciate it. All support helps. Talk 49ers just about every day, unless I go on vacation like I just did. It was just a 1-day vacation. Anyway, get ahead of myself here. So the biggest one here I'm really excited about, Tracy Walker. Robbie Chosen, obviously, is just a camp body. Nothing really special about him. Dude's old. He's washed. He's flashed here and there. He's fast, and he has a thing with changing his name. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was Chosen Anderson. First his name was Robbie Anderson. Now it's Robbie Chosen. So, dude's a little, I don't know, with the names, but maybe he's gonna be like a kick returner guy. We'll see. So Drake, and then let's get to the next thing. That's kind of a big deal. That's our last signing. That is Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson is out for the season, out for 2024 season, which is a really big deal considering our depth is really like we don't really have much depth here. Let me show the share screen. Boom. All right, so here's the roster here. So Drake Jackson essentially on the right side is our defense, left side is offense. And Drake Jackson obviously was hurt, so I put him as yellow because yellow means hurt. Well, he's out for the rest of the season, so I got to take care of that. We quite literally have Austin Bryant, who I don't have making this squad, who might actually make the squad now. Gross, Matos, Floyd, Nick Bosa, and Beal Jr. are those four are the only people we have at edge. So we definitely need to sign somebody at edge. I think that's a pretty big deal. We have a ton of D tackles. I think we're fine there. Not the best, but I think it's good enough. But edge has now become thin. To address that situation, though, the 49ers did sign edge Jonathan Garvin, who's in 2022 again with the Green Bay Packers, he had 1.5 sacks. He was drafted in 2020, so he really didn't do much. He's 6'4", 257 pounds. However, he did play in the UFL last year in 2023. So, played the UFL in 2023, where he had 3.5 sacks, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 batted passes, 2 forced fumbles, 19 tackles. So he has some special teams, really kind of practice squad like stats for UFL talent. So, and I believe he did win the championship, so he did contribute there, and he was a starter. So he's really just a depth piece that probably won't make the team. Hopefully we sign better edges. Let's take a look at what's remaining edgewise, because there's actually some pretty good edge rushers out there. Like there's 2 of them I think I like out there. Let's take a look. Stop screen. Still getting used to all this stuff. That's transactions, best available. Okay. All right. It's going to show safeties right now. Those are the best available safeties. We got Tracy Walker, so we don't have to worry about that. I like him. That's a great pickup. That's a great safety signing, I think. Our defense is so solid. Just got to get the edge depth. Where is the D-line? There's the D-line free agents. Hassan Ridgeway's old, but I mean, I don't think he played too bad. All right, here's the edge rushers that we can pick from. Honestly, I checked out all of them. The only ones that are worth taking were – who did I put? Were Carl Lawson. If you can see that there, Carl Lawson. Carl Lawson had, in 2022, 7 sacks. He did not play in 2023. I believe he got injured. I could be wrong. Let me double-check that real quick. I don't know why I just typed in 2022 there. Maybe. Oh, missed it. Yeah, he got hurt last year, so he only had 5 tackles last year. But in 2022, he had 7 sacks, 33 total tackles. As an edge rusher, I would. That's not bad. I like that. It's the best of the bunch that's remaining out of everyone you see here. And then, of course, the number 1 guy that we all wanted actually during free agency that we're actually shocked is still relatively available right now. And that is Yannick Ngakoue. I don't know what kind of contract he's waiting for. I'm actually shocked he hasn't been signed yet. I mean, just go chase a ring, buddy. Just go get a ring, man. Even if it's not with the 49ers, go with another team. Like, I'm shocked he hasn't given in and just take what you can, because he did have a down year last year. He only had 4 sacks. But the year prior, he had 9.5. He was still productive. He's a good edge rusher, especially if we do a 5 wide, where it's just going to be him and another tackle. So quite literally be the perfect fit for him. I think Ngakoue would be an amazing signing if we can get him. So that's my opinion on everything with the news that happened today with between the signings as of late, Drake Jackson, signing Jonathan Garvin to replace him, even though I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should get Ngakoue or Carl Lawson. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get to what happened today at training camp with San Francisco 49ers. And after that, we'll talk about the camp stars so far. So if you like the show, please like the show. Please click it. It helps out a lot, man. You know, it's just me. It's just me and you guys. So let me go ahead and get the – where's that? Grant Cohn coming up. Y'all know Grant Cohn? I'm sure of it. Welcome to the show. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's find out today what happened at training camp. The good and not so good, according to Grant Cohn. Let's do it.
Training camp. Keep in mind, lots of veterans had the day off because yesterday's practice was grueling. The good quarterback Brock Purdy, he bounced back and played extremely well after throwing 2 interceptions on Wednesday. Today, Purdy played without Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Christian McCaffrey, which means his primary weapons were George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, and Juwan Jennings. And they were more than enough for Purdy, who made good decisions, didn't force any passes to covered receivers, and still managed to make big plays.
It's my boy.
His best throw was a 20-yard strike to Juwan Jennings between 2 defenders. Let's see how many practices like today Purdy can string together. Running back Cody Schrader. He split first-string reps.
Brock Purdy is constantly being a stud with Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings, and the rest of the squad without Trent Williams, without a lot of these starters in the offensive line, without Kittle half the time, without McCaffrey, who's not going to come back till week 1. I don't get it, man. The dude's – I think that obviously AIYUK will make the team better, but I do not think that losing AIYUK would be a loss, if that makes sense. I think that Brock would still be a good quarterback and still show up and make plays with Juwan and Deebo, but obviously AIYUK being better than Juwan Jennings, he would make the team better. However, Brock's got this. He's proven it in camp. I mean, against the best defensive league, against the best corners, against some of the best. Apparently, Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley are studs. I mean, yeah, and Brock's not shaken by his interceptions. He had a couple bad days here and there, but for the most part, he's had more good days than bad days. If you really think about it, you can poke at his bad days, but he's had a lot of good ones. And it's good to see that Grant Cohn's being a little positive here and being like, hey, he's actually doing good. He just needs to be consistent, and Grant Cohn's a little positive here. It's a little different. I'm not used to that. Usually he would take his shots. Usually at the end of the comment, he's like, unlike some days where Brock Purdy's throwing interceptions. Expected a comment like that. We didn't get that. Props to him for not taking a shot.
Reps with Jordan Mason and played as well as he has all camp. Schrader is the 49ers' secret weapon. They seem extremely excited about him.
Schrader, yeah.
Fullback Kyle Juszczyk.
Squad.
He caught 2 passes from Purdy during team drills. First, he ran an out route and made a 12-yard catch on 3rd and 10. Next, he ran another out route on 3rd and 4, caught the ball inbounds, turned up field, and scored. One silver lining of Brandon Ayuk potentially getting traded is that Kyle Juszczyk could become more involved in the passing game.
It's a good analysis, especially since we all know that Kyle Juszczyk is very clutch. I can't really think of games right now, but there's multiple games where he's made multiple clutch third down plays, fourth down plays even. Dude's very good at his job. I've seen the dude take a massive hit to the head for the sake of catching a ball. He's a very good player. Runs his routes really well. He's not the fastest, but, he can catch a ball 3rd and 12. He'll do it. It's good to hear. It's a good analysis. With Ayuk gone, Juszczyk might see the ball more.
Wide receiver Juwan Jennings. He was Purdy's go-to guy today. Not George Kittle, not Kyle Juszczyk, Jennings. He caught 4 passes while running a wide variety of routes: digs, shallow crosses, corners, and swing routes. As Deebo Samuel said yesterday, Jennings is the most consistent receiver on the team. He was their most effective receiver in the playoffs last season. He has picked up right where he left off. Look for him to have a career year. Wide receiver Ronnie Bell. He made a sliding 35-yard.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings, if AIYUK is not part of the team and we don't get another wide receiver, I expect Juwan Jennings to take a huge leap. I agree with that analysis there. It's kind of a weird day. I'm agreeing with Grant here.
Catch while running a deep crossing route. Brandon Allen's pass was extremely underthrown, but Bell adjusted mid-route and made the grab. He looks like a quality number 3 receiver. Left tackle Jalen Moore. He won both of his reps during one-on-one pass rush drills, including one against Nick Bosa. Moore isn't much of a run blocker, but he's a much better pass blocker than starting right tackle Colton McKivitz.
That's crazy because I do not believe in Jalen Moore whatsoever. I don't see his practices, but I've seen him play games. I've seen his snaps, his very minimal snaps. I've seen it, and they were terrible. All the word is absolutely terrible. This is the first time. I believe this is the very first time I've heard him on the good list. Very first time anyone's ever talked positive about Jalen Moore right here. And it's from this dude. That is a game changer.
More on him in a minute. Right guard Dominic Pooney. He won all 3 of his reps during one-on-one, including a rep against veteran defensive tackle Malik Collins, who has an array of pass rush moves. Pooney simply anchors well. Once he gets his hands on the pass rusher, Pooney holds his ground surprisingly well. Defensive tackle Malik Collins. He beat backup left guard Lewis Kidd with a spin move. Kidd barely laid a finger on Collins. After the play, Nick Bosa was so impressed, he walked over to Collins and tapped him on the helmet.
Oh.
Cornerback Renardo Green. He broke up 2 passes the day after he broke up 3. Today, Green was the starting left cornerback in place of Travarius Ward, who had the day off, which means Green faced Juwan Jennings and still gave up no catches. Green has been marvelous in camp. He needs to be in the 49ers nickel defense. He's better than Isaac Yiadom. Strong safety Malik Mustafa. He nearly intercepted 1 pass.
I've preached this a lot, but Grant is the only one that's not high on Yiadom. He's the only one. Everyone else talks high on him. He's the only one. I've talked about a few videos, but if he thinks he's better than Yiadom, everyone else thinks Yadom's good. That's a good sign for Green. It's good. It's a good sign for our corner room. I mean, honestly, our corner room is it's finally just fucking better, dude. It's solid. I don't know if it's the best corner room in the league, but it might very well be like top 10, top 7. It's up there.
Pass and broke up another. He's clearly the 3rd best healthy safety on the team after Jair Brown and George Odom. The not so good. Tight end Cam Latu. He caught 0 passes and caused a fumble by running into the quarterback while pulling. I've never seen someone do that before.
Wow, what? Wow, what? Doing what? What did he do?
He caught 0 passes and caused a fumble by running into the quarterback while pulling. I've never seen someone do that before.
He caused the quarterback to fumble by pulling the player into the quarterback and causing a fumble? Is that how I read that? That's crazy. The blocking was supposed to be his thing.
The 49ers said that one of the reasons they drafted Latu in the 3rd round last year is that he originally played linebacker in college before he switched to tight end. He should switch back to linebacker. He's hopeless on offense. Tight end Eric Sobert. He's painfully slow.
So he
was open running up the seam.
So he catches 20-yard bombs. He's caught multiple 15-yard, 20-yard bombs. That's kind of what you ask for your tight end. You're not asking him to be a deep threat. You're not asking him to be the fastest. Don't need to be fast when you're tight end. It helps.
And Purdy threw him the ball, but Sobert couldn't run underneath it. He looked like he was stuck in quicksand. The 49ers need a backup tight end in the worst way. Left guard Nick Zakelj. He lost all of his reps during one-on-one pass rush drills, including one against Evan Anderson and another against Shaquille Brown, two players who won't make the team. Zakelj is not one of the 49ers' 53 best players, not even close.
Yeah, he's not making it.
Right tackle Colton McKivitz. He got beaten by Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa during.
Our starting right tackle needs to stay off this list. Stay off the bad list. We can't have our starting O-line on the bad list, regardless of Trent being there or not.
During one-on-one drills and barely touched either player. They beat him around the edge before he fully got out of his stance. McKivitz has to be the worst pass blocker of all the starting offensive tackles in the NFL. Just brutal.
Fuck.
Defensive end Robert Beal Jr. He lost.
Like, Jesus Christ, man. Okay, there is the Grant Cohn that we all know, okay? Because that was a drilling. I feel like it was a tad unnecessary. Definitely the best Shannon. The cornerbacks, yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, you're right. What was I doing? There was something I was going to do, and I totally forgot what I was going to do. It's the Benjamin.
Lost both of his reps during one-on-one drills against backup right tackle Brandon Parker, who probably won't make the team. Beal seems like a failed project who should go to the practice squad.
Beal?
Defensive end Austin Bryant. He lost to a.
Hey, yo, Beal's not going anywhere. He's definitely not going to the practice squad, especially with how thin our depth is. I mean, Beal could be rather trash right now. He's making the depth. He's making the team. I mean, he's got to be better than Jonathan Garvin. Let's be real. But yeah, Beal's making the team. I am so confident Beal's making the team. This is the first time I've heard anything bad about Beal right now. But if we don't sign another DN and we keep Jonathan Garvin, yeah, he's definitely making the team. There's no way. And Ngakoue and Carl Lawson, I will be super happy if we sign one of those. Anyway, I'm going back in time.
Tight end during one-on-one drills, which is embarrassing. The tight end was Eric Sobert. Bryant also failed to beat Isaac Alarcon in this drill, which is why Bryant won't make the team. Cornerback Ambry Thomas.
Isaac Alarcon is like that really fringe player that's definitely not making the team at all.
He gave up a 20-yard catch to Trent Taylor on the final play of practice. Thomas is the most nonchalant practice player of all time. He gets torched daily, and it never phases him. Remarkable.
Some new names. There's some new names. That was one of Grant's nicer shows. But it's good to hear that Brock Purdy's doing well. It's good to hear about Juan doing well. It's good the offensive line, isn't the highlight, like constantly being talked about in a bad way. I guess it's kind of a good sign. But then again, the expectation isn't too high there. So yeah, I think so, because we got rid of Gutierrez. We got rid of him, I think. Sebastian. I think we got rid of him. So yeah, I think you're right. Strawberry. I think you're right, my man. I think you're right. Yeah, I just talked about Drake Jackson being gone for the rest of the season. So yeah, we definitely need edge. Beal's not going anywhere. He's part of the squad. It's part of the squad. Okay, let's go ahead and look up some. Who's next? David Lombardi. Let's see what he has. We heard what Grant Cohn had to say. Let's see if anything that David Lombardi says, Grant Cohn also has said. Let's find out. By the way, I will point this out. David Lombardi has officially tied Grant Cohn in subs. That's a pretty big deal. That's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and watch the instant reaction type of this type. Get this commercial out of the way. All right, here we go. David Lombardi. What do you have to say, my man? Hey, brother, what do you have to say? I got to really be on these banners. I keep forgetting about banners. I didn't forget it this time, but, usually not on it. Here we go.
Can't practice in the books, and I just watched Brock Purdy make perhaps his most impressive high velocity throw in a 49ers uniform. It was a deep out to Jawan Jennings, crossed the
Already, we got 2 Grant Cohn said the same thing. Says like it was a very impressive throw. It's probably the best throw he saw in camp. It was a corner route, I believe. David Lombardi is giving the same credit. Apparently, it's a very impressive throw. That's good to hear, especially apparently being somewhat of a deep pass, 20 yards. Technically, somewhat counts as a deep pass almost. More intermediate, I guess. But yeah, I guess Brock Purdy's slinging it with Jawan Jennings.
the hash about 25 yards downfield, and Brock Purdy had to deliver a laser to beat the safety help from Jair Brown coming from.
You don't hear
the center of the
laser very
field.
often
He
with
threw
Brock
a
Purdy.
bolt that got there in time to Jawan Jennings, who went up and made a good catch. So if there's any question about Brock Purdy throwing harder, more velocity, more spin on the football, because he worked so hard in Jacksonville with Will Hewlett and Tom Gormelli for over a month this offseason, put on a little bulk, but made it useful bulk. If there's any doubt about that increased ability, it should be gone. That was a hell of a throw. Crisp day for Purdy. Jennings remains a favorite receiver. The 49ers didn't have a whole lot of receivers
Crisp
out there. Obviously,
day.
the hold-in continues for Brandon Ayuk. We'll
Fried
talk a lot
chicken.
about that. I think the 49ers are taking a hard line stance there, as they should. They're sticking on principle, and we'll see where that ends up. But he's not out of practice. Debo Samuel had a vet day. Somebody like Chosen Anderson, who they signed before practice, was not yet.
It's not Chosen Anderson anymore. It's Robbie Chosen now.
Out there, I think they have to make a roster move, a corresponding move to make that official. So there's so much going on in that receiver room right now that they don't have a lot of weapons out on the field. So somebody like Jennings is extremely featured, and he's such a reliable target. But Purdy doing fine even without the full stock of receivers. I mean, even Chris Conley got a vet day at practice, and Brock continues to deliver. I thought it was interesting. They ran a designed run early on with Brock Purdy, naked bootleg action, and he took off. Remember, there was a zone read in the NFC Championship game. This is something I've been talking about a lot. Purdy can move. We've known this since we've watched him at Iowa State. Obviously, we know this based on what we've seen with the 49ers. We also know that Kyle Shanahan has been.
This is a weird thing, and I'm just baked, and my edible is probably kicking in. But the way he says the 49ers, it's just, there's like a, I don't know. I like David. I do. But there's just something about it, man. I don't know. Just refers to him as if like they're an object. It's so weird.
Been enamored with keeping defenses honest with a quarterback who can move. That doesn't mean that he wants a running quarterback. It just means that he wants to play 11 on 10 football. And you just need the threat of a quarterback taking off, the threat of the quarterback keeping the ball in the designed run.
Which he can do. He proved it.
And there too.
Which proves what he said about the design run thing, which I don't know if it's a design run or not, but he made multiple plays with his legs. And if he can do just, you're not asking him to do anything super crazy, but if he can have just a little bit of legs like Mahomes, maybe a little bit more than that, I think he could get a little bit better than Mahomes, but he clearly has the instincts to step in the pocket and get a first down with his legs. He's done it multiple times. There's a highlight reel you can watch. It's like 10 minutes long of him running. So he can make plays with his legs.
Get defenses to play the quarterback with.
I see you, Strawberry.
And I think that.
See you in the chat.
We're seeing that potential design from the 49ers. I wouldn't be surprised to see Brock Purdy take off on a zone read in a potentially safe situation for him to run this year, once every 3 games, once every.
It's actually look at one of your comments on. He actually doesn't have a cannon arm. I think they act like he has the weakest arm. It can be yeah, they act like it's it's super bad. It is a mid arm, but a mid arm's like 15, 20-ish. It's not, and he throws the fluff of a ball. And wide receivers love that. It makes it easier to catch, And if he's able to fling it when he wants to now, that's a cool thing to add to his arsenal, but clearly has not handicapped him in any single way. So he apparently was the lead blocker on a double. He was the lead blocker. Ooh, dude, no, stay away. Keep that fingers, elbows, hands away. Nah, dude, do not be blocking people. Do not be doing that.
Every 2 games, just enough to make defenses have to.
I like Josh
consider
Dobbs,
the
but
possibility. Mike Shanahan was at practice today again. He's been out there for almost the length of camp. He was watching with John Lynch at one point in center field. Renardo Green had another nice pass breakup today. He was working against Jordan.
Renardo Green.
I will say, man, Brandon Allen does not throw a very good deep ball.
Was that something negative from David Lombardi? Holy crap. Yeah, I guess. I mean, we all know that. Brandon, he can't throw a good deep ball. He just look at his face right now. Is like, damn, he really can, bro. Look at his face. Is like, no, he can't, dude. Where I paused it.
Allen might make a lot of the right reads, but he definitely has the weakest arm of the QBs.
There you go, Strawberry. There's your weakest arm.
Are sorry about that. Of the QBs that are delivering for the 49ers. Josh Dobbs definitely more physical upside than Brandon Allen. And obviously Tanner Mordecai, who's starting to get a little bit more time.
Tanner Mordecai, Larry's guy.
A strong-armed guy. He might spin it better than anybody in that 49ers.
Might keep him around as third quarterback for that reason.
Brock Purdy is definitely stepping up his game as far as being able to throw some lasers this season with that added strength. It'd be
bang, bang, Niner gang, 187.
The most important competition at the 49ers quarterback position. It's more about reading defenses and diagnosing what's going on out there, being the field general. But it still is worth noting. By the way, Mordecai probably going to play quite a bit. Purdy's not going to play against the Tennessee Titans.
That's exciting. The rookie coming in playing, be the third quarterback. He's definitely not beating out Dobbs. We're paying Dobbs to be the second quarterback. That's what he'll be. I promise you that. Tanner Mordecai is playing against Brandon Allen right now. If Tanner Mordecai could just show any confidence as being a good quarterback, he will make the team just because he also has a strong arm as well. Brandon Allen is – yeah, I think Tanner Mordecai can steal it. I think he can do it.
On Saturday,
preseason.
Brock first made a splash in that preseason game against the Minnesota Vikings in 2022. So I see this as a big opportunity for Tanner Mordecai to make a splash of his own. We'll have much more on practice in a little bit. This is the instant reaction. I'll leave you with one more piece of the report, a little wholesome content. Mike,
a little tidbit. A little piece of, extra little crumb that fell on the ground, picked up a piece of the pie. So, some little fries in the bottom of the bag, a little extra.
Mike Shanahan was watching at the end. Jake Moody was kicking field goals. Jed York's kids were out there today, and so were Kyle Shanahan's kids. And the kids, they sit behind the goalpost catching the field goals because there's no net. And I just saw Mike Shanahan hanging out behind the goalpost today with his grandkids, obviously Kyle's kids, as the field goals were landing there from Jake Moody. So wholesome content, Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, that's cool. For sure. Okay, so that was David Lombardi. Welcome 187. Strawberry laugh emoji. Cool. It's pretty much what David said, pretty much is what Grant Cohn said. They pretty much agree. They're the same exact report. Green did well. He didn't say anything about Latu. David, obviously he wouldn't do that. Yeah, there's really not much to say compared to what Grant pretty much said. Brock Purdy's doing well. Juan's doing well. I mean, yeah. That's kind of boring. Let's go ahead and check out Larry Krueger. He's got things to say for sure. If you guys like the content, if you still feel bad for me or anything like that, and you're like, oh, dude, this guy's content, it's not really exploding. Hit that like button. It's a lot. Or follow. I pretty much make content just about every single day. So, all right. Okay. Oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Perfect. All right. That was not hard. Pause. Or that's what she said. Here we go. Larry Kruger. All right.
Practice recap video, and this was training camp practice number 13. Okay, let's just go. There were a bunch of things.
Day
that happened
5
today,
of
so we'll
pads.
go through it one by one. One, the Niners signed safety Tracy Walker. We did a whole video on this earlier today.
Stud
He's
signing.
an interesting guy. The Niners released Eric Harris, the veteran safety, and signed
Deuces,
Tracy
Eric.
Walker with
Appreciate you, brother.
Detroit. Walker was a third-round pick, and out of Louisiana Lafayette. He's an interesting
2018.
player. He's from
2018.
Brunswick, Georgia. 6'1", 206, ran 4.51 with 14 reps, 33-inch vert coming out. He's one of 6 kids.
I said that earlier, though. This dude out here stealing my content. I kid. I made this video obviously after, so that's the joke. Yeah.
What I really like about him, he's super athletic. He's a long-armed safety who some people thought could play press man corner coming out of college. He's really
Not at
probably
4.51
press
then.
man corner.
Not
but
at
his
4.51.
coverage ability for a safety is pretty good, and he's definitely an upgrade on Eric Harris. So the Niners looking
True.
for a little bit more quality depth at safety.
He's going to continue to
added
watch.
Tracy Walker, and he's a rangy free safety who can cover. We had a chance to talk to Chris Forster and I earlier before practice, and I asked Chris how much time.
For those who don't know, Chris Forster is the offensive line coach. So he's about to talk about the offensive line, which is a big deal. Don't know why I got that aggressive.
Time is a player like Trent Williams going to need to get ready? And he couldn't give me a specific answer, but, there's definitely a guy like, Trent has done a lot of the mental reps. I think the Niners would love to have, let's say a week to 10 days of camp before they throw him out there, whether he's experienced or not, whether he needs it or not. I don't think they want to throw him into the fire, after a day or two of practice. So,
We talking
what does
about
that
right now?
mean? That means that they're going to need him to sign at some point, let's say a week to 10 days before their week 1 matchup with the Jets. So we still have some
Trent
more
Williams.
time, but Trent continues his hold out. And Brandon AIYUK continued his.
Come back, Trent. Trent Williams, save us. Can you hear me, Trent Williams? Trent Williams, save us. Trent Williams. If you can hear me, save us. Save us, Trent Williams. That's what's happening right now. We need him right now. There's no way we are winning the Super Bowl without Trent Williams, and Trent Williams knows that, which is like dope. Like props to him, man. Like knowing the situation, being like, you know what? They didn't really get any security blankets for me, so technically, I got them by the balls, the cojones. Sign him immediately, and then sign 10 other offensive linemen and try them all out, and just pick out the best ones.
His hold in. Now, there are reports that the Niners may have kind of reapproached AIYUK and upped their offer to him slightly. And they would like
you want
AIYUK
26. We're gonna give you
choose one of
26 million.
three,
How about
choices,
26.1
one of three
million?
options: either accept their offer, or play on the 5th-year option at 14.1 million, or accept a trade to a team that's willing to give the 49ers what they seek in compensation. And right now, AIYUK wants to play for the Steelers.
I want to throw this out there. This is not really a. I guess in the title he is talking about AIYUK and all that, but we're 2 minutes, 40 seconds in, and still haven't really talked about camp yet. We are talking about important things like Tracy Walker and, obviously Ike's situation right now, but
can't satisfy the Niners in a trade. Andrew Filipponi of 93.7.
Jack Boner says, "What's up? Welcome, brother. Welcome, man.
Of AIYUK to Pittsburgh is pretty much a done
Welcome to the late night stream.
Happen. He's saying that really the delays at this point are all about contractual language being worked out between AIYUK and the Steelers, and that AIYUK's going to be a Steeler. But there are other reports out there that the 49ers have not agreed to the compensation package. And if you're the 49ers, I'm sure you want a pretty hefty compensation package. Now, one of the
I will say this right now. I'm getting absolutely sick and tired of seeing tweets, articles, live shows saying breaking news. Brandon Ayuk's going to the Steelers. It is confirmed. It is happening. He is traded. It is done. All that needs to happen is this one thing. All that needs to happen is this one X. We're getting so tired of that. So tired of that. Do not report it until you know, man. God, like, everyone's so desperate. Like, you're not going to be the first person to break it. You want to be the first person, like, be one of the people to talk about it, sure. But you're not going to be the first person to break it. You don't want to come out looking stupid. Because the people that are seriously posting this dumbass crap is looking really dumb right now. Super stupid. And it's just getting so out of hand. Wait for someone, because it's constantly changing. It's not even like changing in a different way where it's literally going back and forth between Browns, Steelers, Steelers, Browns, Patriots, Commanders, Commanders, Patriots, Patriots, Steelers, Steelers, Browns. Do you get the gist? It's just this constant twirl of the wheel, and it's just full circle, and it's just driving me nuts. So just stop with it until you know. Until you know. It's slowed down as of late. So I think people got the memo. But that's my rant. So tired of people saying it's happened. It has not. That's my rant. I'm back. I digress. Jack Bodner says facts. Straight up, dude. Facts like the 90s, brother. All right. If Ayuk's 100% been traded already, then why is he still in the building? It's Strawberry spitting facts. We got the 90s up in here. All right, let's get through Larry Krueger's reaction.
Theories of the day was that the 49ers, partially because they obviously need AIYUK, and partially because Pearsall and Cowing, the two rookie receivers, are both been a little dinged up and maybe even a little fragile here in the early part of training camp, that they want a wide receiver back, and that they're not really a fan of any of the Steeler wide receivers. Now, the Steelers have George Pickens, but I doubt they're offering him.
Do not want George Pickens. George Pickens is not going to become a 49er. If he becomes a 49er, I promise you I'll be super shocked. That would be extremely shocking. The dude does not fit the culture. And culture is a really big deal of why we don't draft players. Like, it's a whole thing. It's just such a big deal to the 49ers when it comes to character. And George Pickens is not that guy. That dude quite literally does not block. He does not block. There's like multiple highlights of that dude just giving up and letting his running back take all the work. George Pickens is not the guy, man. We're either going to get Dan Moore, James Daniel. I would take a first-round draft pick, of course. And who's the other one they would offer us? Freiermuth. Apparently we want Freiermuth. Hell, I'll take Kittle and Freiermuth. Woo, dude. I'm sold, brother. I do AIYUK. All right. AIYUK for Freiermuth in the second round. I like it. Let's see what Strawberry has to say. Bragg says Pickens hasn't even been traded to the 49ers, and he's already in Shanahan's doghouse. Yeah, he's got Shanahan's definitely got like a He's got real estate somewhere out there for the wide receivers out there. They're not on the team, and George Pickens would definitely be in that doghouse for sure. All right.
To the Niners in this trade. It's more likely they're offering a tiny little return guy like Calvin Austin, which probably doesn't excite the 49ers because Austin's chances of making the 49ers are probably only 50-50 of him making the roster.
I want Amari Cooper, man. I want the Coops.
That means that according to some of the printed
John Bodner says if they do trade him, I just hope we get something good in return. Yeah, I do too. And what good in return is a wide receiver, O-line, or D tackle. Those are the three things I feel like we have to get a player in return no matter what. And I don't know if it has to be a first-round draft pick. It just depends upon the player. But it's definitely first or second-round draft pick in there. So, for sure.
Reports and some of the X reports that are out there that the 49ers may have partially agreed to a deal with the Steelers as far as maybe there's player X or player X and Y coming.
Here's the thing. If there was an actual deal confirmed and if AIYUK wants to go there and there was already a deal ready to go with the Patriots and the only thing that stopped it from going was Brandon AIYUK saying no, then I don't think the Steelers were ever that close. You know what I mean? I just think that I think the Steelers would work it out. I think they're the best chance of happening. I do think that just because of the pieces they have, and they could afford Brandon AIYUK. But I don't think it's that close, just because I just feel like it would have happened already if it was as close as it was. Those weird things on the side, like those small perks in contracts and stuff, those get resolved fast. You know, those don't hinder a contract negotiation based on from what I've seen as a fan, of course.
Year with a draft pick, if the 49ers feel like they can
that's a whole bunch of nonsense, I think.
Reroute that draft pick to a third team for a receiver that they feel is a suitable replacement, that sounds like it may take a third team to get this deal to actually go through.
There is not. When was the last? I need to check. I should have done this. I failed you guys in study. But when was the last time a three-way trade actually occurred? Has there ever been a three-way trade in the NFL? Oh, yes, the Herschel Walker trade. I should know that as a San Francisco 49ers fan. Epically failed there. But that's about it. That's it. It's only happened once. I don't think a three-way trade is going to happen, man. I don't see that happening at all. We need to stop having a conversation about three-way trades. Let's just be real. I'm trying to be. I mean that with love, but that's I don't know. That's talking about. We're having a conversation about what happens if you win the lottery, kind of type deal. Agreed. I think the Steelers think they're close because they think the 49ers are boxed in, but the thing is the 49ers don't have to trade them. Yeah, exactly. That's a better way to put it. You did a good job putting it with there. Yeah. I think the Steelers are just putting it out there, pretty much what you're saying. Yeah, they don't have a choice. It's pretty much just a matter of time before they cave in. It's pretty much what they're putting out there without actually saying it, putting it that way. One of the trading wide receivers now, when the Steelers just trade for that receiver. Yeah, true. But then again, Steelers have been connected to every single receiver. Courtland Sutton, even DK Metcalf, everyone did. Freaking Steelers have been bums for wide receivers. Absolute bums. Surprised they haven't got a hold of I think it's Higgins. I get Higgins and Boyd mixed up because I think Boyd went to Titans and then Higgins is currently I think he signed his franchise tag. I don't know. But yeah. I feel like a lot of leverage here. It's perfect. Like if you don't have it's not that many wide receivers out there, and there's this top tier of a talent, AIYUK is out there to get him. And then also the 49ers have multiple suitors for him. I don't know. I'd say the 49ers have most leverage.
Through between the Niners and the Steelers. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people speculating about Devontae Adams and the Raiders, T. Higgins and the Bengals, Christian Kirk and the Jaguars. There's a lot of people speculating about a lot of different receivers. And
everyone's going to speculate every single receiver possible, even receivers that just signed a contract. I think Kendrick Bourne just signed one. There's so many other wide receivers that signed that I'm completely blanking it, but there's been a few wide receivers that just signed that people are saying that wide receivers are going to go to 49ers for AIYUK. And it's like, that's not going to happen, dude.
And who knows which receiver the 49ers have interest in. I would say Cortland Sutton might be an interesting one out of Denver. Let's say you could get, I don't know, James Daniels, Nick Herbig in a second-round pick, and you could flip a second-round pick or a third-round pick, for a receiver that you really like.
Who says we need a wide receiver, man?
Maybe that makes sense.
Who says we need a wide receiver? Just get a player that we need. O-line, D-tackle. I guess you could get edge and Herbig. That wouldn't be bad. He's got a lot of potential. He's a good backup. He's a great depth. But I don't know if the Steelers will be willing to give him up, because I think he plays across from T.J. Watt, or just someone else ahead of him. I don't know.
Sense. And maybe a guy like Cortland Sutton. If the 49ers were to get James Daniels and Nick Herbig and Cortland Sutton, maybe that might be enough for Brandon.
Whoa, hey, dude. Whoa, dude. You added James Daniel in there too as well, bruh? I don't know about that, man. You're going to get one player and probably one pick. Let's be real.
To me, that would probably be enough. I don't know what the offer is. I'm speculating.
Strawberry says Highsmith. Yeah, right. Highsmith is the opposite. You're right.
That one
Appreciate
is interesting. It's like nothing's happened yet on the AIYUK front. Filipponi, the radio guy out of Pittsburgh, says it's going to happen.
Filipponi.
Contract details. Other reports say that the Niners are trying to engage a third team that would be willing to take a draft pick to spin them a receiver, so they would actually have a receiver they could replace AIYUK with comfortably at the start of this year. So
there's one thing I do not absolutely understand. I do understand that you want to build a dynasty. You want to build an empire. And that's what the 49ers are trying to do. They're trying to be very smart about the future as well. But with the pieces you currently have, with the empire you have with Warner, Kittle, Williams, all these older players, Kyle Juszczyk, you need to go all in, man. Spend what you got. There are some quality players out there. There are some draft picks. I know for a fact you can get up and get some quality, at least depth players. Heck, even starters, even though there's very little holes in our starters. And I don't think there's any holes in our starters except for offensive line. I'm using all my picks right now. I'm going full Madden GM right now. I'm using every single pick I have and trading for players. If there's anyone in free agency I love that I need to add to the team that would make the team instantly better depth-wise, I'm doing it. Probably not going to pull that trigger, though, until a little bit before. I wouldn't pull that kind of trigger until before the season starts. So I'll pick up free agents before the season starts. And then when the trade deadline comes around the corner, week 9 this year, week 9 is the trade deadline. Remember that this year. That's when I'll trade for players, just in case someone gets hurt, etc. That'd be a good time to reset the roster. So, Strawberry says the problem is B is the youngest. Kittle's 30. CMC is 28. D was invest in 26-year-old wide receiver to grow if you're 24. Agreed. Have that one. That duo would be nice. I agree. I think having that established wide receiver would be great, but I think this team could go without AIYUK. I think the team would be fine. I would prefer to keep AIYUK over Debo. I really would. But considering the circumstances right now where he wants a contract now, we can't get rid of Debo right now. But we're not going to get rid of Debo right now because I guess technically we can, but we're not going to. Just now wouldn't be the time. I think we can go without him. But however, I would like a Jerry Rice, Joe Montana historical, kind of duo. That would be great to have. And I think AIYUK can be that guy. So, but it truly does not seem like he's going to be on the team. Just don't know what team.
That is where we're at. Now, with that as the backdrop, the 49ers today signed wide receiver Robbie Anderson, who's now goes by Robbie Chosen. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. He's wearing, I guess, I'm not sure actually what number he was wearing. Somebody said 84, but I don't think 84. I don't think he was wearing 84 today.
He's wearing number 3, isn't he?
He played at Temple collegiately. And the one thing about Robbie Anderson, or now that he goes by Robbie Chosen, the guy always could make circus catches. I mean, amazing circus catches.
Not now.
He's got a really, really, really thin frame. He's missed 114 games, or I should say, he missed time in 2014 due
Come on,
to
Larry.
academics. I can't read my own writing now, and he's had some focus drops. But he did run 4.34 at his pro day when he came out of college. So he had the vertical.
Yeah, but he's kind of old as fuck now, man. So I wouldn't rely on his combine. I'm just trying to say, do not rely on his combine stats right now. Excuse me. That was not the time.
Speed to get deep. He's always been a super skinny guy.
Those days are coming down.
Catches. He came into the league as an undrafted free agent with the New York Jets. He since has played for Carolina, Arizona, and Miami. So the 49ers would be his 5th team and are his 5th team. But Robbie Chosen, we'll see what he's got in the preseason. That one's interesting. Today was an interesting practice in that there was a whole group of guys that didn't practice. No Ward, no Danny Gray, obviously no AIYUK, no Pearsall, no
Danny Gray,
no Conley, no Isaac Yadam, no Christian McCaffrey. Just a bunch of guys missed out today. No Patrick Taylor, no Logan Thomas, no John Feliciano. Garendo's out. Fred Warner was out. Just a bunch of guys who wind up missing today. Purdy looked good, I thought, today in practice. He had a couple of really, really nice plays. George Odom had a big hit. We saw J.P. Schrader and J.P.
Hey, Odom, watch your shit, man. You can't be hitting play ball. Slow down, man.
A couple of really nice runs.
Slow down.
Who's looking kind of good? Looked kind of good today was Keyshawn Vaughn, the running back, the former Tampa.
Enough with the running backs. I understand he's trying to tell us the good, and this is the good. It's Keyshawn Vaughn, but Schrader's doing good. I heard Patrick Taylor's doing good. I heard everyone's doing great, except for Garendo. But every running back's doing great. He's not making the team. If he says, I swear to God, if he says that he might make the team, I will laugh my ass off. Let's find out.
Bay Buccaneer. He had one excellent run that I saw. He showed some amazing jump cuts. I mean, Keyshawn Vaughn at Vanderbilt not that long ago was a really good football player. Renardo Green had a PBU. Renardo Green looks great. Samuel Womack had a couple PBUs. Malik Mustafa had a fantastic PBU in this practice today. We saw a little brawl between Juwan Jennings and Jalen Graham. That's like the second or third time we've seen Graham mix it up, which I love to see because he's such a nice kid, but he's an aggressive player who wants to get on the field. Jalen Graham, I think, is a really good player. So, he's mixed it up on a couple of fights already in this camp. He wants to get out there.
Fred Warner 2.0.
Made a couple nice catches in practice today. We saw Mitch Wishnowsky out there walking around. He's been battling some tendonitis, I believe, in his I believe knee.
Ooh, tendonitis, man. That can. Oh, dude, that's not good. Gonna draft a punter in the 4th round next year.
I believe he's had knee tendonitis. Couple other things that stood out in practice today. it was interesting to hear Jair Brown. We talked to Jair Brown after practice, and he said that Purdy is just such a smart quarterback.
Smart.
He just takes control out there. I asked Jair how he's different as a player this year from this exact same
Tell
time
me.
a year ago, and he said that he
Tell me what he said.
really recognizes the trends and the coverages a lot quicker now. He says he recognizes coverage a lot quicker when he steps to the line pre-snap. He's got a much better idea.
So his play recognition went up from like a 77 since he balled out last year, and how he's talking about his play recognition. It's probably an 87 now.
What's coming?
Pretty good.
Now
Pretty
here
good
in year
upgrade.
2 than a year ago. We got a chance to talk to Trent Taylor.
He got
as
multiple
well.
interceptions
What a
this
story
game.
Trent Taylor is. He's entering his 8th year. This guy's a true student of the game. This guy is 5'8", 180 pounds. He ran 4.63, and he's now played 8 years. This will be his 8th year in the NFL. He's third.
Trent Taylor's about the size of my salt shaker. That dude's not making the team at this point. That dude had so many injuries. I remember when he got bucked with like a Cowboys player once, dude. It was like him and like 4 other Cowboys players. No 49ers came to help him. And they just kept pushing him and shit. It was something you see like in fucking high school, like elementary school. He's just getting pushed. It's like, Jesus.
And I asked him.
He
I
had
said,
fighting him. He had some fighting him.
what did Sonny Dykes? Because Sonny Dykes is the guy that spotted this kid out of high school.
I'm sorry. What's that dude's last name? I'm a child, dude. I swear to God. That dude's last name is what now?
What did Sonny Dykes? Because Sonny Dykes is the guy that spotted this kid out of high school. This kid had no FBS offer.
No child, yo. I'm sorry.
Except for one offer from La Tech and Sonny Dykes. Sonny obviously saw the heart in this kid. I mean, he's a man. I mean, he's 30 at this point. But Trent Taylor, I think Trent Taylor is going to make this team.
There's no fucking way homie just said that. I just cursed on stream, so it's probably not getting monetized, but I can't fucking believe he just said that. He did not just say that Trent Taylor is going to make this team. I'm going to rewind this clip. And my man Larry is not going to tell me the boy is going to make this squad. I'm going to rewind this. He did not just say he made the squad, bro. Vaughn. There's look, I like Trent. I like Trent a lot. Don't get me wrong. I like me some Trent. But there's too many wide receivers on this team for him to make it. If he makes it, that means we're cutting someone big. I do not see that. Bell's has to make the team over him. Danny Gray, I could see make the team over him. All right.
Kid, I mean, he's a man. I mean, he's 30 at this point. But Trent Taylor, I think Trent Taylor is going to make this team.
Need to make that a ringtone. They did make. I saw that. I was like, if you speak at the media, that means that says something. I think he got him up there because he is a leader to a sense. Like he knows how to play the position really well. Like he's actually more of a coach, I think. Not to mention, no one's in a rush to sign Trent Taylor. No offense to Trent Taylor. He can easily be on the practice squad. He'll be fine. There's no way that he makes this team. I would be absolutely blown away if he makes this squad. Debo, B.A., J.J. Pierce, all counting. Yeah, they're definite locks. Chris Connolly would make this team over Trent Taylor. And I think Chris Connolly is going to make the squad. The dude's been an absolute stud in camp. Him and Purdy have been clutched. It's been, yeah. So there is no way, my man. Fuck. You think Trent Taylor over Connolly and Bell? Yeah, I'm taking dude. I think Connolly's a 4th wide receiver, man. I got Connolly as 4th wide receiver right now. I think he just clicks really well. He's proved it last year in the playoffs, especially the pool and the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy trusts him, and obviously can do the work now in training camp. So, yeah, dude, think we're good on wide receivers. I don't, but Trent's not making it. Let's be real. Let's be real.
No, I don't know how because there's not enough wide receiver spots.
That's the logic speaking, brother. That's you knowing for a fact it's just not going to happen. It can't happen. It's impossible.
But he's so trustworthy as a return guy.
He is
He's so dependable in so many ways. I just see him being on this team. You could see why a special teams coach would love this guy because he's a calming influence. He catches the ball. He's very, very sure-handed. So there you go. There's your day in Santa Clara. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the.
Yeah, but he's not worth a roster spot on a team that where we're trying to go for a Super Bowl run. Every spot is super important. If this was like the Panthers, I guess you could afford to have somebody that on your squad, but you can't afford to have someone like that. That just because he has some kind of hands in punt returns. I know for a fact you can find some wide receiver on the team right now that can at least securely grab the ball. May not go as far as Trent, but he will catch the ball. Yeah, he's going to the practice squad for sure. Strawberry. Yeah, I agree. So that's pretty much everything of day 13 of training camp. I already went over the signings of Robbie Chosen, who's just a camp body. Tracy Walker, already went over him. I absolutely love Tracy Walker. I think Tracy Walker is an absolute stud as a depth piece safety. I think we now have George Odom, who's been a stud in this training camp as well. I think we now have 5 safeties I'm comfortable with, which is Jair Brown, Hufanga, Mustafa, Tracy Walker, and now George Odom. Safety was one of our biggest problems. Now I think it's been solved. So there's that. And then I do not care for the Jonathan Garvin sighting. I think that's kind of stupid. I think that was really just a last minute like dump body until we find a better substitute because he brings absolutely nothing to this table except for a body. Because I would take Austin Bryant over Jonathan Garvin, 110%. So, and I feel bad for Drake Jackson. That's really sad. From what I've seen in interviews, seems like a good dude. I liked his potential. But injuries just plagued him. So there's that. And then so through 13 days of training camp, here are the stars that I have. These are the ones that constantly came up through 49ers perspectives like David Lombardi, Grant Cohn, and Larry Krueger, who was talked about the most, who's brought up more frequently, not like once or twice, but just more consistent. On offense, or the offense, Brock has been brought up a lot bit, but I think that's just because he's a quarterback. He's going to get talked about a lot, but he's been doing great in camp. DeJuan Jennings, stud. Debo, doing really well for all the times he's been practicing, catching deep balls. Apparently got a lot better route running, so that's good. Cody Schrader, undrafted free agent, stud. I like that too. I think he makes the team. I think they make a way. I think they're actually going to keep about 4 or 5 running backs in the team, and I don't like that. But Schrader is definitely going to get picked up. He's not going to stick. He's definitely not going to make the practice squad. So Schrader, fantastic. JP Mason stepped up his game. He makes the team. I think JP Mason would make the team over Elijah Mitchell easily. Chris Connolly, obviously, I've brought him up already. Pooney, apparently Pooney's been showing up with Feliciano out and Burford injured. Apparently Pooney's been the starter, doing very well. So give it up for the Poonster. Okay. And then you got Braden Willis, who's a backup tight end, who will be the 3rd tight end because Saubert will be the 2nd tight end. And that's great to see because we were before training camp, we were about the tight end position behind Kittle. We had so many uncertainties, but now I feel comfortable with Saubert. Supposed to be a blocking tight end. He obviously can catch balls. He's good. And if Braden Willis is that more of a pass catcher next to Kittle on the other side, that 2 tight end set would be crazy. So Braden Willis being a stud. And Bell apparently has been catching some pretty good balls, been pretty well. Not a good punt returner. He's not a punt returner guy. He's already dropped 2 balls already. I believe in punts in this camp. So it's not Bell, but I think Bell makes the team. He's pretty good. Danny Gray is a little bit of a hard of a cut. He's had a couple of good days from what I've heard, but I mean, you got Cowing, the 4th round pick. You're not going to cut him, and I think Cowing was the replacement. So I think they're going to risk putting Danny Gray on practice squad. I think they're going to risk it. So, and it wouldn't be the end of the world if we lost Danny Gray. Let's be honest. If we lost Danny Gray, we wouldn't be like, oh my God, we lost so much potential. No, with Bell, there's still things to find out. Danny Gray, he has to kind of revive what we think of him already. So, Strawberry says, yeah, Gray's done. You agree, Gray's? Yeah, yeah. As for defense, this is really great. Pretty much all defense has been studs, but this is the ones that's been shown out that people have been talking about the most. Starting with the D-line, we got Leonard Floyd. That's awesome. Apparently, Nick Bosa and Leonard Floyd are going to be the best duo that Kyle Shanahan's ever had. And that's what I like to hear, especially since Leonard Floyd is older. He's like 32 years old. So hearing that he still got it, maybe he can get 10+ sacks next to Nick Bosa. I mean, that's going to be dangerous. Absolutely dangerous. Then there's Gross Matos, who, if in a five wide, Gross Matos can play inside and outside, which is huge. He can set. We desperately needed run stoppers, and Gross Matos is that guy inside and outside. Next to Jordan Elliott, who is a bigger guy, who's probably going to play more, obviously more nose tackle, middle-ish of the line. So Gross Matos, really excited about him. That was actually my sleeper. I think he's gonna be really good. I think he's gonna outperform what people think of him. Sorry about that. Mad cottonmouth, y'all. Mad cottonmouth. Next up, we got Yadam. Yadam, as the only person that spoke bad about Yadam has been Grant Cohn. Everyone else has been speaking fantastic about him. But even Grant Cohn has said a couple of good things about him, so I put him on this list. He's a stud. I think he's a great second to third corner. He's definitely a top from what I've seen of his highlights with the Saints. And from what I heard, I think he's probably a second or third corner for sure. And that's what we expect of him when you have Lenore out there and Ward. You want that second corner. So you got Yadam. Green, our rookie, who's going to play more slot, can also play outside and safety if we somehow get through 5 safeties. So he can play that position as well. So Green, stud rookie so far. Lenore, apparently best camp he's ever had. He's going to have a crazy year. That's something I love to hear. That's the insane thing is Yadam, corner, Lenore, corner, Green, corner. Every corner has just been superstars in this training camp. And every 49ers fan knows that we've had trouble with corners. It's such a good feeling knowing that we're actually good there. Especially if one goes down, we're fine. We don't have to rely on Ambry Thomas, Dante Johnson 2.0. Then you got Jair Brown, who's got multiple interceptions on Brock Purdy, multiple pass deflections, can do man, zone. Jair Brown might have an all-pro season. He's looking like a stud. Jalen Graham, apparently he's doing really good in the run game. If not for Devondre Campbell, he'd definitely be next to Fred Warner in the defense. Next to D. Winters as well. Him and D. Winters and Graham were drafted together in the same draft. And however, they're rising together. So you really can't go wrong with either one. If Jalen Graham goes out, you got D. Winters, who's pretty much the same person. So we're good there. And then Bethune. Bethune is a huge surprise for me personally. Oh my God. I really had to scratch my throat for that one. Bethune's only 5'11", but he's looking like a stud. He's been great in the man coverage. Apparently finding the holes in the run game. Dude definitely is not playing like a 7th round pick from what I'm hearing. I'm constantly hearing good things about him. I haven't heard a bad thing about him either. So there hasn't been like, oh, this 1 3rd string rookie beat Bethune on this one play. I didn't hear anything like that. I've heard nothing but great things about him. And then last but not least is Mustafa, the rookie as well. So obviously you can tell that our defense has just been stud. All of our starters and our depth is going to be fantastic. The trend that you do see here, though, and I do think it's kind of funny, is that the rookies are really shining. Like they're actually being good and playing like really well. Because you got Schrader, obviously you can't cut him. He's an undrafted free agent. And you can't cut him. That's pretty big. What's the other rookie we got? Pooney, the right guard we drafted in the 3rd round. Apparently he can start. He's the guy. He can start. Green, our 2nd round pick. Apparently he's the guy. He can start. He can do it. Who else? And Bethune and Mustafa. This might be the best. If training camp is any indication of their actual talent, this might be the best draft the 49ers have had. And we still haven't seen what Cowing. Pearsall, I haven't. That's kind of one of the sad parts. 49ers never been great with 1st round draft picks. Pearsall, he's been doing good. He's been doing good from what I've heard. Nothing like crazy or outstanding. He's been hurt from what I've heard, obviously, so limited in training camp, but nothing really like eye-popping or, ooh, this or that. Just that, he runs good routes. He could beat some starters. He can catch some balls. He's good. That's pretty much what I'm hearing about him. Papa J says, Sorensen and Staley are doing a great job with our defense. Can't wait Saturday to see it. I can't wait either, dude. I can't wait either. I really am stoked because, we do know that some coordinators cannot be head coaches. They're just good coordinators. Strawberry says, I do agree. He has had a ton of reps. I do, but you think through mini camp, OCAs, training camp, the reps that he has had, I don't know. I just thought usually you would hear like, man, you could see it on the field. Like when he just goes, you see it, and maybe that may change, obviously, especially if he actually is hindering him at all in certain departments, of course. But I just want to hear a little bit more about Pearsall. That's all. And that could just be me because I didn't want to draft a wide receiver. So there could be some bias to that, but I really want to see just a little bit more from that guy, especially if we're losing AIYUK. And if he can replace AIYUK, that means our team got better because Jawan Jennings got better. Debo is doing better. All these players are doing better. So I have heard that from some. Yeah. Anyway, I'm losing my voice, guys, as you can tell. My edibles are kicking in really hard. My eyes are slowly disappearing. Like I could just look at that. It was a great show. I appreciate Strawberry. Thank you so much for the conversation, man. You were awesome. Papa J, thank you so much for coming back, man. You're cool too, dude. We got I feel bad for the other guy. There's another guy in here. 1-8 something. Oh, Jack Bodner. Appreciate you showing up, dude. It's good to see you. And yeah, that's everything. One last comment before I dip out. Wolfie, do you know who the 49ers are going to test out the kick returns this weekend? That's another position I'm excited to see. I actually don't know. No one's actually talked about that. I know they're practicing a ton of different people. That's all I know. But they haven't. Hold on, let me. Thank you, Strawberry. Appreciate it, brother. Give you the heart. All right, let me look up who's going to be the punt returner. Let me see if there's actually possibly an article. Kickoff returner. Well, according to Grant Cohn's Sports Illustrated article that popped up, this is the first thing that just popped up on Google, so take it with a grain of salt, is Debo Samuel. And I have heard that Debo wants to take a crack at this kickoff return. But I don't think he's going to do it. He wouldn't do it during preseason. You wouldn't risk a player like him even to test out a kickoff. So I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who would be. So tell you what, though, once I find out, I'll let you know. I'll make a little short about it. Why not? All right, guys. Thank you so much for the conversation. If you, for people that watch it later, please sub if you like the content. Like the video if you like the video, or if you feel bad for me, you want to show some love, support for a small channel. I appreciate it. All right. Love you, fam. I'll see you next video.